also state statute as it relates to variances, I'm not sure this is going to be a good fit for the Presbyterian Church. And the reason is state statute states that you cannot grant a variance if the purpose for the variance is the result of the applicant. And that basically can be interpreted as saying the applicant's wanting to change the use from a church to a health facility. Therefore, the reason for the variance is caused by the applicant by state statute. That just makes it that it's not a viable option for the city council to consider. So first option, we kind of have to remove that from the table. The next is a conditional use permit. Now, conditional use permits are similar but not same with variances. It allows for the local government to grant, well, in this case, a permit to relax a certain restriction with the zoning district. The difference is conditional use permits are usually established in the ordinance already, meaning within a certain zone, and in this case a residential 2 zone, there's listed out certain uses that are allowable. And then underneath the uses, there are conditional uses that are allowed, meaning on these certain conditions, an applicant can apply and maybe get authorization to get a permit for that conditional use. In Riverton City Code, we only have listed conditional uses in 2 of our zones, and that's in the agricultural and the airport zone. So again, we're kind of hitting a dead end in the sense that conditional uses are a viable option, but in residential 2, there are no listed conditional uses for an applicant to apply for. So that one doesn't look like it's going to be a viable option either. But there's a third option, and that's in our zoning code in the administrative section. And there's verbiage that allows the Board of Adjustment to hear special exceptions to the terms of a zoning district and to grant some type of relaxation to that for 3-year periods. One of the conditions for that is if the area is underdeveloped or if it just doesn't quite meet the spirit of the community by leaving it vacant and underdeveloped. And so the Board of Adjustment may be able to hear an application from the current property owner or the future property owner to allow for that cognitive and behavioral health facility. And Ernie, I feel like I'm really nerding out on this and talking quite a bit, but I want you to know we did do our research and the City Council asked that we would. So outside of just approving or moving forward with that rezone from an R2 to a CO, we looked at these other options, and really of the 3 that I've talked about, maybe one would be a viable option.
Otherwise, they've got to start all over again, which means a reapplication, then they go back to the Planning Commission, then back to the City Council for 3 hearings, for 3 readings, and the behavioral and cognitive health folks are kind of anxious to get going. They've run out of room where they're at currently on Sunset.
That's right. They're excited to provide service, and to wait another 2 months to close on the property just doesn't quite work for their business. Just last week I heard a phrase that I thought was pretty clever. Alan Moore said it, so I'll give credit.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
But he said delay is the deadliest form of denial.
Right.
And so by delaying this another 2 months to establish a conditional use under R2 is a deadly form of denial for a business owner that's needing to move quickly.
Absolutely. And of course, there's some remodeling that has to take place before that they would be able to move in. And the interesting thing that we heard at the big public hearing that filled the City Council chambers at the first reading was no one's opposed to the use. Everyone thinks the facility would be great for what they're proposing for it, but it's the zoning that is the bugaboo. They don't want the permanent zoning changed to office because that, this is a great tenant, but what happens, down the road if they decide to move on to bigger and better things?
Yeah, I think that accurately captures the concern, and I appreciate that the community is supportive of the applicant and wants them to operate and be successful. But you do have to look long term, especially with zoning, because as soon as you change that zone, it creates maybe a bigger lane for that bowling alley to
Right.
operate on, and that bowling ball to move down. And so I think they're concerned about what could happen if this cognitive and behavioral health facility moves on.
Moves on, yeah. All right, so that's going to be the second reading at the City Council meeting tomorrow night. What else is coming up on the agenda?
We have a couple bid awards that are going to be proposed next. The first is for a roll-off truck, and that sounds kind of funny, but that's just a term that we use. We rent, as you've probably seen, those large sanitation containers, big garbage containers, and they roll off the back of a truck, right?
Right.
So this is the truck that carries those roll-off containers. Like everything, they're pretty expensive, but they're a big truck and they provide a good service. City Council budgeted for this roll-off truck. They budgeted $286,900. We put it out to bid pursuant to statute. Received one bid from Peterbilt of Wyoming, and that did come in under budget. The proposed price was $244,194. So we're just over $40,000 under budget on that, and we propose that the City Council accept this and we move forward with this truck.
Okay, very good. So a bid award.
Yeah. Our next one I wish was just as easy, but it's not. This one is our meter replacement project. And we've been working on this project for a lot of years, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we applied for some funds with the state of Wyoming with relief monies that were made available. We were fortunate to receive those grant funds, and that happened within, the last year or so, so we've talked about it. But the point I'm trying to make is it's been about 6 years that we've been working on the details of this meter replacement project. So to get to a point to where we've bid it and we're ready to award it feels pretty gratifying. The purpose of this project is to update our aging water meters, and quite frankly, they're at the end of their useful life. We've had to replace, I would say anywhere from 30 to 50 every single year that are just failing. And that's because there are no longer replacement parts available for the ones that we currently have, or they're very scarce, and they don't manufacture them either anymore.
Right. Yeah.
They also don't meet the new low lead and copper rules. So what we've done is we've received some grant funds. We put it out to bid. We were anticipating a cost of about $3.5 million. And wouldn't you know it, the bid came in at $7.7 million.
Whoa.
That's what I say. Whoa. We had one bidder on the project, and a local company, Viper Underground, and I just can't speak highly enough about this company. When we receive one bid as a public entity, we are allowed to enter negotiations with that one bidder, especially when it comes in significantly over our budgeted amount, and really the budget that we have from the state of Wyoming with those grant funds that I mentioned. So Gino D'Angelo with Viper, again, I can't speak highly enough about their company. He entered into negotiations with our public works team, and they immediately went to work seeing if they could value engineer the project, make some reductions here, trim a little bit there to bring it into where we could basically award the bid. And after about 2.5 weeks of work, they got there. So what's being proposed is that the meter project move forward, but it will be reduced to roughly $3.5 million, $3,548,900, and that gets us right within our budget.
Yeah. And so you won't be able to replace all the meters at this time.
That's exactly right. The majority of the meters in the city are 3/4 inch meters, so we prioritize those. We removed all the 1-inch meters. We'll just have to take those on at a different time. And then even of the 3/4 inch meters, we had to remove about 500 of those. To put that in perspective, there's about 4,500 within the city. So
Right, yeah.
we're still accomplishing, I think, the major goal of replacing a lot of these meters that just need to be replaced.
Sure, yeah. And, just like anything else, you have to have a replacement plan because things do wear out, don't they?
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
And water meters are important because that's the way that first we conserve water by tracking it. And, this is maybe the bad thing to say, and this is why I'm not a politician, but it's the way that we track your usage as a community and bill you.
Right.
So without a water meter, there's really no way to accurately track consumption and then appropriately bill for the consumption. So if Ernie Over doesn't water his lawn a lot, but Kyle Butterfield does, and he runs 6 loads of wash at the same time, I should probably pay for that added use.
Right.
And without a meter, there's no way to tell, and so then you have to average everything across the entire system, which may work well for some, may not work well for others, and there's no incentive to conserve water when you're not tracking it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you can detect a leak that way too. If all of a sudden somebody's water usage goes way, way up and they say, hey, I haven't changed anything, then you can go back and see, well, maybe there's a leak somewhere.
Absolutely. Yep. Information provides the best type of revelation.
Yeah, but absolutely. There's another one we're going to write down and remember.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm full of them all day today.
All right. So what's next?
Next item is a contract approval with Imberg Miller Engineers. This continues the phytoremediation project that we've been working on for quite some time. Essentially, we've got a landfill on the east end of town. It's over by the ball fields and the wastewater plant. That landfill has not been operating for 30 to 40 years now, but because of its close proximity to the river, the high water table, there's a high chance for contaminants to work through the landfill and that groundwater and make its way to the river. So what we've been exploring are ways to remediate the contaminants that are in the landfill before they get to the Wind River. Phytoremediation is kind of a creative way to do that. There aren't many phytoremediation examples within the state of Wyoming. We've been working really closely with the Department of Environmental Quality, and we think that this site is perfect for that type of use. And it's much more cost effective than digging up all the trash, putting it in a truck and hauling it to sand draw, which is incredibly expensive. So this contract proposal allows for another summer of monitoring work until we get the DEQ completely bought off on our proposal, because what happens if they buy off is we can apply for some state funds to help remediate that site. We just want to make sure that it's a viable solution before we go into this program of landfill remediation and receive state funds to do so.
And phytoremediation means planting trees, basically. Trees and bushes that will then, the roots will suck up the water that's headed toward the river and decontaminate the site.
That's right.
The trees are very good at doing that. And there are special kinds of trees that they're looking at. I sat in on the public hearing about this, what was a little over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a fascinating proposal, and that saves the city a huge amount of money from having to move the landfill.
That's exactly right. And so we've spent now 3 summers experimenting with different types of trees, which ones would, well, survive in the environment, and then which ones would be able to pull out those contaminants as it pulls the water out of the ground. And we've got great proposals on some trees that will work. We want to see how it does for another summer, and then we hope to jump on the program and spend not $10 million on this remediation, but about $800,000.
$800,000, yeah. You're hearing noise in the background, and we are live at the Fremont County Fair, and they're getting ready to get everything going for today. So we've got a lot of trucks moving back and forth, a lot of kids with their animals, and the fans are starting to show up now. I know the burrito place there at the end of the line is getting pretty popular over there. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, we've just got one other agenda item. So pretty full council meeting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
As always, please come to our meeting. Please give us your feedback. Please attend and see what's going on with your local government. This last one is an exciting one in the sense that the Evolve, Diversify, Grow Our Economy Committee, or the EDGE Committee, is, yeah, it's a great acronym, right?
It really is, yeah. Of all the acronyms around, this one really works.
There we go. So the EDGE Committee has made recommendations to the City Council to utilize that half-cent tax for economic development and put it into business owners' hands and multiply it in our community. The committee recently received applications from 6 entities totaling $931,000. And unfortunately, they didn't have that much to give out. But of the 6 that they received, they're proposing 4 to receive funding. That includes Brunton International for $76,000, Legacy Foam Solutions for $90,000, the Media Adventure Queen, which is a podcast company, for $3,400, and then Riverton Youth Soccer for $125,000. All of those recommendations total $294,750, and almost immediately get into the community to improve not just the quality of life, but the economy in Riverton. We want to create jobs. We want to bring money into the community, and the half-cent tax that we've all voted on, it does that. It's
Right.
our way to get money into the hands of people that can multiply it and create jobs.
And you know, the soccer folks bring in these big tournaments every year, and so do the baseball people. And you know, through the you got a fly in your there you go. It's a popular aftershave, I guess.
Well, we're right by the goats, you know.
That's right. We are right by the goats. So you know they do. That's what the purpose of it is to bring in events and activities and facilities that would help us out in the future. Yeah. Okay, we've been talking with Kyle Butterfield, City Administrator for the City of Riverton. City Council meeting is tomorrow night in Riverton at 7 o'clock. The Finance Committee has a short meeting at 6:45, and then it's the City Council meeting at 7. You can watch the meeting on cable channel 191 or on the city's Facebook and YouTube channels, or, as you just suggested, people can show up in person
That's right.
and see how sausage is made. That's right. Okay, no comment there.
Well, you know, I wasn't quick enough.
Yeah.
We didn't pull into town last night until about midnight, coming in from a family reunion. So I'm just not as sharp, Ernie, this morning.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you're always sharp. So, all right. Kyle Butterfield. And we're going to throw it back to the radio station, and we'll be back with more of Let's Talk Fremont after we listen to these. And back again, Ernie Over and Sean O'Brate with you from the Fremont County Fair. It's a beautiful morning, Sean.
It really is. Not too hot, not too cold. It's not humid at all. And there's pee-wee dog races happening right behind us.
Yeah, that's kind of, and the kids are bringing in their animals. I've seen a lot of sheep here, and of course Kyle was mentioning the goats. We're right across the street from the food court here, and just south or just north of the Grand Arena. But it's a perfect day for the Fremont County Fair. Today is Military Appreciation Day at the fair. As Kyle mentioned, we've got the 4-H dog agility and dog show and pee-wee show and races going on. Later on today, we'll have judging of the open class agriculture products at the Fremont Center, the open bees and honey judging at the Agri Center, followed by the judging of FFA exhibits. Then we'll have the Kids Zone, the craft contest. Table settings will be judged at the Fremont Center. Then the Kids Zone again, this along about 4 o'clock, we'll have the sidewalk chalk art judged at 5 o'clock. It's always great to see how creative these kids are with that. Then at 5 to 6:30, arrival and interview judging of all the 4-H garden exhibits, and that will be at Heritage Hall. And then tonight at 7:30, this is the big one, and you're going to be featuring it in the Wednesday paper, the results. So we've got the PRCA Rocky Mountain Rodeo Roundup. Wind River Rodeo Roundup.
Yeah, and the Military Appreciation one is almost always a bigger event than the Too Tough to Wear Pink one tomorrow night. I don't know why. I think people obviously out here love their military, love their veterans, so they want to come out and support them in any way possible. But it is fun to be at both. You know, you can wear camo tonight and wear pink tomorrow.
Right.
It's almost like going to Barbie or Oppenheimer. You get to decide. But no, tonight's going to be a big one. A lot of local kids riding, a lot of local kids doing barrel racing, bull riding, all that fun stuff. And a lot of these kids just came back from the NHSFR, the National High School Finals Rodeo, just last week in Gillette. So they've had a lot of practice, they've had a lot of competition, and tonight's going to just be a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's going to be great. And then tomorrow night we've got the second section of the PRCA Rodeo, and that is the Tough Enough to Wear Pink night. And then Wednesday we've got the Ranch Rodeo, and that's going to be great. And then we've got the bull riding, and just all sorts of great stuff going on.
Oh, yeah, it's just a fun week overall. And, you know, it makes my life as a sports writer a lot easier when it's all right here in our backyard. And, you know, rodeos is a sport, and then you have the figure-8 racing on Saturday. I totally consider that a sport. You're racing. I mean, that might have been my wife's favorite event from last year outside of the Indian relay races, which are also pretty fun, but they don't happen at this fair.
Yeah. Want to remind you, our sponsor for Let's Talk Fremont is Fremont Local Market. That's on 500 block of Main Street, downtown Riverton. And Central Wyoming College Rustler Produce Company is one of the new producers at the Fremont Local Market. They've got all sorts of great produce and even some flowers coming in. Don't forget the steaks from Pothook Beef. Salad mix from Lakeview Gardens outside of Ocean Lake, and don't forget to grab something sweet like Jilly's Cake Crumbs, soft white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Oh boy, that sounds really good. And they now have whole chickens available at the store from the Gold Standard Farm and Ranch, and you know that nothing beats a local homegrown chicken. Stop in and grab one tomorrow. They're open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And here's something that's brand new: peanut butter frozen yogurt protein bars.
Wow.
Super yummy and packed with protein at the Fremont Local Market on the 500 block of Main Street. So they're open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And just watching over here on the show lawn, one of those youngsters with his sheep, and the sheep was getting the better of him.
Yeah, he's trying to take it down if he can.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. So we've got a lot of events going on here at the Fremont County Fair, and we hope that you will stop by and join us. And Kirk, we've got some photos to take here at the show.
Before I let you go, we can't forget we are working on our fall sports preview, which is
that's right.
It was one of our biggest newspapers all year last year. I think it was our second highest selling newspaper because of the tab that we're putting it in. So if you weren't here last year, if you didn't grab a Ranger or a Lander Journal last year, we go through every single fall sport team. from Riverton, Lander, DuBois, Shoshone, Wind River, Wyoming Indian, and St. Stephen's. And, I mean, everything from cross-country to football to volleyball. If it's a fall sport, cheerleading, band. I mean, we do it all. We cover them extensively. We talk to all the coaches. We talk to players. We'll give you a full roster. We'll give you a full schedule, give you some ideas on how the teams are going to go. Obviously, we call Lander football together, so we're going to be talking Lander football pretty soon, actually. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a really interesting tab. I know we have a lot of tabs. Obviously, we have our Fremont County Fair tab in our last issue, but this is probably my favorite tab because I get to kind of control just what goes in it, and it's just sports are my life right now, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we're trying to push that out the last week of August, so right when football starts, which is August 25th.
And we'll have a lot of kids from the Western Heritage Academy, too, that participate
yes, we
in
are.
Fall sports, so we're not going to forget them.
No, we are not. I have ran out of fingers on my hand with all the schools.
And you got your shoes on, so
yeah,
you
I
can't
know.
use your
Yeah,
toes.
I can't do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's been a good opening day here at the Fremont County Fair. Actually, everything got started on Saturday.
Yeah.
You were there at the cat show. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun, and that was my first actual cat show. I know we took pictures of it, but that was a lot of fun. And I think we knew quite a few of the cats, which is funny. I happen to know some of them because they live around and they let their cats kind of loose, but that is a lot of fun. And then we had pig wrestling, which, you know, we almost won. Our Y on Today team, we got 3 seconds away from winning. We were winning the whole time. We were second up, and we had 14.6 seconds, I think. It was me, Carl, Cody, Levi, and Trent.
Yeah, Levi Harris. Yeah,
yeah, and no, Levi Coyle.
Levi Coyle.
Yeah,
sorry.
and we were winning. We even beat the fire department, who won. So they went right after us, and they got a time longer than ours. So we were like hype, you know. We were like, we're gonna win this. And very last team that went up, I think it was Riverton Packing. They got 10-point-something seconds, and second place is fine. It's all good.
Yeah, well, the packing company knows how to handle hogs.
Yes, that's what we were we weren't more afraid of them than the fire department, but we kind of figured if there was going to be an underdog to come out of there, it was going to be the packing company.
It's going to be the packing company. Yeah.
But congrats to them, and congrats to all the people that participated and had fun. I know Rusty was there. Boy, she ate it a couple times, man. She fell right in a couple times.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a fun time though, and that is probably my favorite event. I know it's a whole week worth of events, but that is one of my favorite because you don't get that at every fair. I've been to a lot of fairs. You don't get that very often.
Yeah. Well, tonight is the Wind River Rodeo Roundup, and it's the PRCA Rodeo. It starts at 7:30 here at the Grand Arena, and tonight is Military Appreciation Night. And tomorrow night, the rodeo is tough enough to wear pink night. But Shauna Brait, thank you for stopping by and chatting with us today. I know we want to get some pictures of the dog agility show over there.
Yeah, they're having fun out there. I can hear it.
They're having fun. We can hear it. And so we'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of Let's Talk Fremont. And we'll throw it right back now to Kirk Baxter.